Welcome to Boomer Being, a show written and produced for the baby boomer generation, those of us born between 1946 and 1964. Today I'm pleased to present Boomer Fitness, a closer look at how every single one of you can get fit and stay fit. Before we begin, it's important to have a look at the Center for Disease Control Prevention's published obesity trends in the United States. The last study published in 2010 shows that about 1/3 of adults are obese. Published articles also suggest that roughly 1/3 of the 78 million American boomers are also obese. However, there are signs of increased interest in boomer fitness. The International Council on Aging defines physical wellness as choosing a lifestyle and habits that maintain or improve health and functional abilities such as exercise, nutrition, sports, sleep, self-care, alcohol and drug and tobacco cessation, and medical self-care. Fortunately, there are people out there that can help you to get fit and live a healthier lifestyle. It is my pleasure to introduce two women that exemplify fitness. Stacy Gillis is an award-winning certified fitness trainer. She's a first-place winner in the Organization of Competitive Bodybuilding figure competition, as well as an international bodybuilding and fitness bikini and figure competitor. To my amazement, Stacy began competing in figure competitions just 2 years ago and won her first competition a year ago. Stacy is also a mother of 4 and a board member of Friends of Dana-Farber. JoAnn Kalogianis Nikolopoulos not only works full-time as a home builder and Andover realtor, she is also a health and fitness coach, mother of 3, and an 11-year breast cancer survivor. JoAnn also exemplifies physical fitness. She began exercising in 2007 and has gone from a size 12-14 down to a size 2-4. JoAnn is a fitness advocate who eats clean as an inspiration to everyone who knows her. Welcome, Stacy and JoAnn.
Thank you.
Please tell us more about yourselves.
Well, I have lived in Andover for 20 years. I have 4 daughters, as you mentioned, and I'm a personal trainer and in the process of getting my certification in nutrition.
Wonderful.
As you mentioned, I'm a mother of 3 children, and I grew up in Andover. I work full-time as a home builder and a realtor in the area, and look forward to, in the future, reaching out more to women to advocate how they can get fit, stay healthy, and stay in shape.
Wonderful. How did both of you get started in fitness?
Well, I've always been very active and interested in fitness. I started working out probably about 16 years ago after my 3rd daughter was born. Just wanting to feel stronger, feel better, be able to be extremely active with the kids. And just started going to the local gyms, loved it, have been running and working out ever since.
Wonderful.
As you said, I started exercising consistently just a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. My youngest was about 2 years old, and I decided to just try and fit it into my schedule more regularly. And over time, my fitness has evolved in a way that, I lost weight initially, then did more strength training, and now at probably my 5th year, I've probably found my strongest and best physically more than I was when I had my first child at 28. So it's been a short run. I guess 4 or 5 years is a long time, but it's not in the sense of a lifetime. So that's how I decided to get into fitness. And I do feel stronger now with the caring for 3 children.
I'm sure. So what motivates you to work out when the alarm clock goes off? What gets you out of bed to get to the gym?
Well, I think it's always made me feel so much better, so much stronger. When I'm not working out, I feel worse. So it's definitely something that I do to feel better. And being a personal trainer, I have to practice what I preach. I want to stay healthy and fit for my clients. It's a great example to set for my girls, too. I have 4 daughters who are all very active now. And that's a huge motivator for me. I want to set a good example And I just want to live a healthy, fit, strong life.
Wonderful.
My preference is to work out early in the morning, get it out of the way. And what motivates me is just the feel-good factor. It gives me just more energy for the day, for the week. It's a great way for me to start the day. And it is a great example, I think, for our children to stay fit, to stay healthy, to grow up in that example. But just the level of fitness that it can give you if you stay with the routine consistently, it's a short-term gain and a long-term benefit.
I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So how often do you work out? And in terms of, for example, talking to your clients, how often do you recommend they work out, both strength training, cardio, big picture? What are recommendations?
Well, I work out 5 to 6 days a week, and I've been doing that for quite some time now. It's just a good routine for me. But for my clients, it all depends. If they're just starting out, absolutely take it slow. I usually recommend 2 days of strength training, so something with light weights when you're first starting out, and incorporate 2 to 3 days of cardio if you can into that as well. So it definitely depends on the person, if they have any issues, any injuries, any medical issues, but start slow. And like I said, I usually recommend 2 days of cardio, 3 days of cardio if you can, a couple days of strength training. I know the American Heart Association recommends usually 30 minutes a day of cardio, 5 days a week, which is absolutely perfect to incorporate with the strength training as well. And you don't have to do the full 30 minutes at a time. You can break it up. You can do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening. So it all depends on the person.
An excellent point.
Currently, my exercise routine is that I do strength training 2 to 3 times a week, where I will exercise from tip to toe on those days, and a little bit of cardio afterwards, which I find boosts metabolism. I'll do 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes of cardio after the strength training. And on the other days of the week, I will do cardio, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour of cardio, depending on my schedule. And again, preferably in the morning, but all told, I try to exercise 5 to 6 days a week, allowing myself at least a day of rest.
Still a big commitment.
Yeah.
How does your position of trainer or trainee influence your diet?
Well, as a trainer, I need to practice what I preach. I need to set a good example for my clients. I have been eating healthy and clean for several years now. It makes me feel better. I have stronger workouts, and I really need to set a good example for my clients.
I've committed now to eating more clean the past few years, and even since being diagnosed with breast cancer 11 years ago, that kind of brings to face your mortality. Where at an age of 31, which I was back then, you're not so much thinking about that. So knowing that life is a long road and it's cumulatively affected by what you do to your body, you are what you eat. So I do try to eat as clean as I can. When I don't, I realize that it makes more work to be done at the gym to offset the calories that I really didn't need to take on. So it's a balancing act where I definitely have struggled with my weight in the past when I was younger. So now finding that balance has made it a little bit more enjoyable overall. Instead of a yo-yo effect, I've found more of an even keel.
Excellent. Stacy, what recommendations do you make when you're with your clients in terms of diet?
Start off slow. If they come in and they're eating a lot of high calorie, high fat foods, a lot of sugar, we take a look at what they're eating. Keeping a food journal is a great thing to do. And we start cutting back on the fats, on the sugar, trying not to do too much heavy carbs in the evening, not a lot of pastas and not a lot of sauces. And just, start slow, cut back things gradually, and eating frequently. A lot of people think that they need to eat 3 meals a day. It's really eating every 2 to 3 hours, not letting yourself get too hungry, always having something prepared that's healthy. Be prepared, I think is a big part of it. Prepare your food ahead of time, have things in the refrigerator cooked, vegetables chopped up, so you can eat healthy easily.
That's an excellent point. Curious, can people eat junk food and still be fit?
What do you think?
I think to a degree, you probably can dabble in some junk food, but it's unnecessary calories. And when we think that a pound equals 3,500 calories, it's kind of easy to put on a few pounds if you abuse your diet over a week or a month. So, of course, everyone feels the need for a treat or some sweet or something, whatever makes them feel, fills their need, whether it might be a glass of wine or a piece of chocolate cake. But it's nice to find that balance where if you know that you're going to do that, you're going to add maybe 10 or 15 minutes more onto your cardio so you don't end up having the gain of the weight come on after indulging. Gotcha.
And it's hard to, cut everything out. You don't want to do everything out at once. Cut everything at once, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So do it gradually, and if you're eating clean and eating healthy all week, give yourself a reward meal on a Saturday or a Sunday. Don't put a negative connotation on it and think of it as cheating. I'm going to have a cheat meal. Have a reward meal for working out and eating clean all week.
That sounds good. So what about diets? Do they typically work, and do you see the yo-yo effect with clients, or, what is your big picture view of diets?
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge yo-yo effect. I don't think you can't be on a diet your whole life. You can clean up your diet, and you can change your thinking about food. If food is a stress reliever for you, go to the gym to release that stress. So I don't usually see diets working. Some clients use it as a jump start, but then you really have to learn how to eat, what's right for your body. Like I said, eating frequently, not letting yourself get too hungry where you make poor food decisions. So typically, I don't see diets working for long term, especially fad diets.
I do agree. The fad diets are maybe a temporary fix, but what will give you the long-term balance is changing your mindset that food is nourishment for your body and it's not to be abused, and it's really just feeding your body to stay healthy. So if you can make the resolution to think of food in a way that it's just healthy for you, it will just be easier to stay in shape long term as we age. So
Absolutely. Long term, that's what you want to remember.
Good. So what about going to the gym? Do people who go to gyms stay more fit than those who work out at home? Do you see a big difference with clients?
Well, I think going to a gym is a great idea, especially if you're meeting a trainer, you have accountability. You have to be there at a specific time. It's much easier if you're just going out for a walk to say, oh, I don't really feel like doing that today. It's a great idea to get a gym partner, set up a time to meet at the gym so you know someone's waiting for you, you need to be there. So it's having that accountability. So I think it is better to join, whether it's a cycling group, a walking group, going to the gym. I think it's just nice to do with other people, especially if you're just starting out.
Speaking of starting out, let's talk about getting started working out. What are some rules of thumb for beginning a workout regimen, particularly if a boomer has been sedentary and they haven't been working out? For example, do you recommend they see a doctor first?
Absolutely. First thing, get the okay from your doctor. Start very slow and set realistic goals and find something you love. Wouldn't you agree? It has to be something that you enjoy doing.
If it's something that you enjoy, you'll stay with it long term. If it's, and I encourage people to try different sports and different activities and try strength training or try different types of cardio.
And have fun. Do something that you have fun doing.
Are there exercises that people can do at home to get fit and stay fit?
Absolutely. Would you like us to show you some?
I would love it.
Okay, great.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, they're going to show us some wonderful exercises.
Okay, so now we're going to show you some simple exercises that you can do at home with little or no equipment. Very important that you start out with some stretching. You want to warm up those muscles. That helps to prevent injury and tightness. So the first stretch we're going to do, I'm going to have JoAnn show you a quad stretch, and I'm going to have her bring her foot back to her glute and pull her toe toward her glute to give a nice stretch right here in that hamstring. And again, if you're just starting out, very important, you can hold onto a chair and do that, a railing, something in your home if you're feeling a little imbalanced. So you usually want to hold a stretch for about 30 seconds. We may not hold it that long while we're demonstrating, but typically about 30 seconds to warm up the muscle. So we're going to do the other side, and this is giving you that nice glute, that nice quad stretch right here. Now we're going to stretch out the hamstrings. So both feet together. Posture is always very important. Shoulders back, back straight, core nice and tight. Bring one foot forward. Give a nice stretch. Pull that toe toward you till you feel that right in your hamstring. Good. And again, if you're not feeling comfortable or you're feeling a little wobbly, hold on to something at home. Good. Pull that toe right towards you. Nice. Now we're going to stretch out the calves, and we're going to do some calf raises. We're going to keep your toes together, and again, shoulders back, back straight. You're going to come right up, come down, right up. Hold it for about a second. Come right back down, and we're just warming up your body. Good, and you want to do, 15 to 20 of these, or do this for about 30 seconds. All right, now I'm going to have JoAnn get down on the mat. We're going to do some stretches on the mat. And I'm going to stretch out her hamstring. And if you don't have someone at home to pull your foot like this, put your leg up, you can get a towel. You can put a towel around the arch of your sneaker and pull your leg in, or you can just hold onto your calf like she's doing. Make sure the other leg stays as flat as it can, and your back is always flat on the mat. Protect that back. Good. Let's switch to the other side. Good.
And the more you flex your toe, as you're
Exactly. The more you're flexing the toe, the more you're feeling it. Good. Now let's give the back a nice stretch. You're going to raise both knees up toward your chest. And I'm going to turn to one side. And that's stretching out your back area, also hamstring. Good. Switch to the other side. And again, you can do this on your own. You don't need someone pressing down. I'm just getting her into the stretch a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to move right into core. And we're going to do some basic crunches. I'm going to have you bring your feet up. Yeah, bent knees, back. It's very important. Keep your back nice and flat. We want to protect that back. Fingers are laced gently behind your head, and you're just going to raise those shoulders off the mat. Come up nice and slow, right down. And you're going to feel your whole core area contracting. Good. Keep your chin up, keep your airway open, and very important, elbows out nice and wide. Good. Now a little bit more advanced version would be bringing your feet up and trying to get your elbows to the side. And for beginners, you usually want to start with 6 to 8 reps. Good. 6 to 8 reps, 2 sets usually if you're a beginner. Good.
Inhale on the down, exhale on the way up.
Exactly. Always make sure you're breathing. Good. Good. Now I'm going to have you roll over on your stomach and we're going to do a plank. And again, I'm going to show you the beginner version and then more advanced. So beginner would be keeping your knees down. You always want to have your core nice and tight. Don't let your back dip. Shoulders and elbow always lined up. Try not to tense up this area. And you're just pulling in your core, keeping everything nice and tight. And hold for about 10-15 seconds, and as you do it more and more, you'll be able to hold it longer and longer. Good. And a little bit more advanced, you bring those knees right up. And again, keep your core nice and tight. Try not to let the tension go into your traps, into your back area at all. Good. Okay, so while you're down there, I'm going to have you do some back exercises. Right, this would be another version. Slight bend in the elbows, so this would be another version of the plank. Good. Core nice and tight. Good. And always breathing. Okay, so lay on your stomach. We're going to do a back exercise, and again, you don't need any equipment for what we've done, so it's a great way to start out at home. So fingers laced gently behind your head, and you're going to just lift right off the mat. Keep your feet down. Yep, just the arms come off. Hold for about a second, and then release. Good. We'll do 3 more. And always breathing and focusing on form. That's the most important thing. Good. So as you get a little more advanced, you can incorporate lifting your feet off the mat and really holding, giving a nice squeeze, and you're going to feel that, also in your calves and hamstrings as you're bringing them up and squeezing. You're working your whole entire body. Good. Actually, there's one more version. We kind of refer to it as the Superman with your arms by your side. You can show them that one. Right up. And I don't know if this is much more difficult than the other one, but it's just a different position, so it's kind of a comfort thing, whatever you're most comfortable doing.
It has a different feeling on the neck. If it's in this position, it's a comfort level.
Right. Good. Do a couple more. Then you can hold for about 2 seconds and then release it. Good. Now while we're on the mat, we'll do some push-ups, and we'll show you the modified version with your knees down. So you can have your feet on the mat, or you can slightly lift them, knees down, but again, really important, keep that core up and tight. Don't let the back dip. Slight bend in the elbow. And always have your shoulder and elbow in alignment. Hands are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. And go right down. You're bringing that chest right to the mat and right back up. Great tricep exercise. Good. We'll do a couple more. Good. Now more advanced would be a full push-up, knees up, slight bend in the elbow, go right down, right up. We'll do a few more. Always breathe. You can see your tricep working. Good. Couple more. Good. Great. Okay, so now we're going to stand up and do a little bit of lower body, and always get up nice and slow. Let your heart rate come down. You don't want to get dizzy. So we're going to start with a basic squat. Feet shoulder width apart. back nice and straight, core tight. You can have your arms in front of you. Why don't you show them the one with your arms out in front for balance, or again, you can be holding on to something at home if you feel like you can't do it without some support. So I would recommend doing that, holding on to a chair or a railing or something when you're just starting out if you haven't done anything. So you can have your hands on your hips, hands out front, by your side. And you always want to bring your hips and glutes back first and go right into that squat and drive up through your heels. And my feet were straight. You can keep your feet straight, or you can plie your feet how JoAnn has them, which is just pointing out. And you never want to let your knee come over your toe. So it's really important to bring the hips and glutes back, then go into your squat. You don't want anything coming forward. You want to protect that knee. And this is a great exercise for your glutes, hamstrings, and quads. Good. And I'm just going to grab some weights. You can incorporate a bicep curl into this. You can incorporate a front raise, so we'll demonstrate the bicep curl with it. Good, so as you're going down, just curling up. And again, start with very light weights, 6 to 8 reps, 3 to 5 pound weights at the most when you're starting out. And as you progress in the weeks to come, you can always add more weight. Good. And let's show them with the front raise. And right back down. Good. So as you're going down, you're raising up. And you never want to raise it higher than your shoulder. We'll do a couple more. Make sure you're breathing. It's nice to do this in front of a mirror or pick a spot to focus on. Good. All right, I'll take the weights and I'm going to show you a stationary lunge. So get right into your lunge position, 1 foot forward. Good. And the front leg, the knee has a slight bend. And again, you don't want the knee to go over that toe. Back leg, you are on your toe, straight leg, and you're going straight down. You're not lunging forward. It's a stationary lunge, just going straight down. Form is the most important thing. Back nice and straight, core tight, driving up through that heel and that back toe. And we'll switch sides and then we'll add a side raise to this one. So again, you could add the bicep curl to this, you could add the front raise, you could add the side raise. Good.
And if someone has a bad knee, they just should be mindful of doing these exercises.
They should be. I mean, they should obviously get the okay from their doctor, but if you had a knee issue, depending on what part of the knee the issue's in, you wouldn't go down quite as far. You wouldn't be wanting to go all the way down, and you may not want to do a walking lunge. You may just want to stay stationary like this, but always check with your doctor if you have some knee issues. Good. Great. Okay, now we're going to go into upper body. We'll actually keep the weights. We're going to do some bicep. So again, feet shoulder width apart, weights by your side, and we're just going to curl them right up. Everything stays nice and straight. Good. Good. And as you progress again, add more weight. Bicep curl is just a great basic exercise that really works the muscle. Some more upper body. You could do a front raise. And again, you don't want to go more than shoulder height. And then you can bring them out to the side. And with this exercise, it's important to keep the weights light. You never want to go too heavy. This movement with heavy weights can really cause some shoulder issues if you go too heavy. So again, 3 to 5 pound weights for the front and side raise. Good. And yes, shoulders. We're going to do an overhead press. So you want to bring them right down, right about to your ears, a little bit over your shoulders, ear height, push them right up. You want to go straight up, and again, straight back, nice tight core. right up.
This one you can do seated too if you're more comfortable.
Absolutely.
Eases the
Yeah.
strain on your neck, I find.
Absolutely. Any of the upper body exercises you can do seated if you have any back issues or any issues with balance. So I think that's a great workout. Why don't we end it with the triceps? We did a little bit of triceps with the push-up that worked your triceps, but we're going to do a tricep kickback. So you're going to be bending at the hips slightly. Weights go right up to your shoulder, elbows nice and tight, and bring it right back. Good. Good, and you can really see JoAnn's tricep working. This is a nice exercise that really isolates that muscle. Good. Great. So I think we showed you most muscle groups, pretty basic exercises that you can do at home with little or no equipment when you're just starting out.
Thank you for that awesome demonstration. Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm curious, are there typical frequently asked questions that your clients bring to you?
Yes, definitely. A lot of women, well, men as well, want to know, how can I feel stronger? I just want to feel stronger in my day-to-day job, my day-to-day life. I don't want to get winded going up the stairs. I don't want to be winded while I'm doing my job. And how can I get a flat stomach? Everyone wants a flat stomach, and I always tell them, really, abs are made in the kitchen. It's really what you eat. You have to be doing a lot of cardio, a lot of resistance training, and eating well to have those nice flat abs. But most clients don't really know what to eat, how many times a week should I be exercising. So if they're just starting out, they're full of questions like that.
I'm sure it's very helpful.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm also curious about the physiological benefits of exercise, and I know I was grateful to you for bringing some before and after photos, and I understand at one point you were over 200 pounds, which is very hard for me to believe. What are the physiological benefits of exercise?
Well, from personal experience, and I have gone the gamut of weight, at pregnancy number 1, I was actually over 200 pounds, and so I've obviously lost quite a bit of weight, but I have found personally that it's given me a great amount of energy. It's very mood lifting, and statistically it shows that actually for older people it helps with depression and anxiety, so that is a benefit out there of exercise for people that are older. It has just given me a sense of personal accomplishment where I didn't intend on a road to come out at the end of a certain way, but it just has progressed, and I guess I would like to say I'm a testament to that. Over time, years will go by and you can choose to be proactive about your health and how you handle your physical care, and you can look back 5 years later, 1 year later, or 10 years later, and having made some changes in your lifestyle and your exercise schedule, you can be at that 5 or 10 year mark, as I am now at the 5-year mark, and look back and say, wow, a little bit at a time makes a difference, and results do take time. I encourage people not to give up. It does take a little time to see differences, but over time you will see it if you stick with the routine and make it part of your lifestyle. That's most important moving forward. You have one body, one life, and I find that it's most important now to take the best care of it that you can.
Some excellent advice.
Thank you.
And it's such a great point. You got up one day, you made the decision, I'm going to change my life, and that's what it takes, just making that decision, getting up, doing it, putting it on your calendar, scheduling it as you would any other appointment, and making it a priority. And like JoAnn said, and as you can see, you're going to see and feel the results. And feeling the results, I know, is what a lot of boomers want. They just want to feel better. So that's one of the most important things.
Thank you. Now, you two work out very hard in the gym, and I've seen them work out in the gym. They're talking while they're working out, and they weren't even winded. So I'm wondering, how much rest do you need? Do you need a certain amount of sleep hours every night to be able to, perform at the level?
Well, rest is extremely important. You want to make sure when you're going to bed at night, obviously your room is quiet, it's dark, you're away from the cell phone, the computer, don't sleep with the TV on. Because as we get older, we may need the same amount of sleep that we needed when we were in our 20s. If you needed 8 or 10 hours in your 20s, chances are you'll need the same amount when you're older. But the quality of sleep declines. You're waking up more frequently. You're not falling into that deep sleep. But if you're adding exercise into your life, I find that you're sleeping much better. My clients have said to me, I sleep like a rock now. I'm, exhausted, but not so exhausted I can't get through the day, but I am sleeping well. So you have to listen to your body. You have to take a break if you've worked out 2 or 3 days consecutively and you're tired. I usually know first thing in the morning when I wake up if I'm going to be able to go to the gym or not. So it's really important to give your body rest, time to heal, time for those muscles to repair and rejuvenate.
Yes, you definitely wouldn't want to do the strength training 2 days in a row to work out your legs, let's say, on Monday and Tuesday. You definitely need a break of at least an every other day schedule. And as Stacy said, everyone's individual for how much time they need to sleep, but I think at least 6 to 7 hours would be a minimum, that
Very important.
sleep helps with slowing down aging as well. So we need to kind of make that part of our schedule.
Yeah, been drinking a lot of water throughout the day as well is so important, and not going to bed with a full stomach.
Sure. Quickly wonder about alcohol. And again, you have clients, do they come to you and they say, can I have a glass of wine? Is that okay? Or will it mess up my exercise regimen?
Right. It definitely does, because alcohol is extremely dehydrating. So if you've had a couple glasses of wine with dinner and you're meeting with your trainer at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or you're going to the gym or out for a run, you're not going to feel as well, and your body will tell you that. You're dehydrated, you could get dizzy, you're sleep deprived, your sleep is interrupted, excuse me, quite a bit. Throughout the night, even if you don't feel yourself waking up, you're not getting that nice solid sleep when you have alcohol in your system. So, I tell them to use it as a reward for having a good week of working out and eating right. If your reward is a glass of wine or something sweet, pick and choose. Maybe just have your wine on a Friday or a Saturday night, but not 2 or 3 or 4 nights in a row.
JoAnn, I'm just wondering, as we sum up, are there any rules of thumb that you can leave our boomer audience with for getting fit and keeping fit?
I am a firm believer that it's never too late to start. A little bit of activity does make a difference, even with cutting down certain diseases. You don't have to feel that you have to exercise hard 5, 6, 7 days a week. You can pick up just a couple days. If you can only do that, and just a little bit will make a difference in your health over time. And I think it's just a healthy mindset. If you can think of your body as something that you need to take care of, because long term, Mother Nature works against us in that we gain a little weight every year, our metabolism slows down, so we have to kind of realize that those forces are working against us. So if you plan that that's down the road and you kind of just keep yourself active, hopefully you can kind of just keep up with a good physical state. So as we age, we'll be stronger and more healthy as we age and we face the challenges of just aging itself.
Excellent. I can't thank you both enough for spending some time with us to give other people the benefit of your knowledge and your experience. It's important rules for us to all live by. So thank you.
Our pleasure. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
And now we're fortunate to have Andover resident and journalist Esther Vita with us to talk about boomer fitness on a national scale. Esther?
Thanks, Leslie. Obesity is one of the most serious problems facing this country, costing billions in healthcare, causing chronic diseases that could lead to low productivity, lost wages, and a diminished lifestyle. Whether you are obese or overweight, a boomer, or a child, all of us have a stake in this. Consider this. According to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, in 2009, the medical costs associated with obesity was about $147 billion. And the proportion of the overall healthcare expenditures on obesity rose from 6.5% in 1998 to 9.1% in 2006. Not only did the nation spend more, but obese people felt a pinch in their individual wallets as well. An obese person spent about $1,429, or 42% more in medical care in 2006 than did normal weight people. So, what are the biggest costs associated with obesity? They include treating heart disease, strokes, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer. All of these can lead to death. Other indirect costs are lost time at work, low productivity, and dealing with the lack of mobility. Still, several surveys indicate that boomers are joining gyms in droves and that their physical activity has improved over the decades. But despite their good intentions, according to a survey of older adults, again done by the CDC, 60% of adults aged 50 to 64 suffer from at least one chronic health condition. Half of Americans aged 55 to 64 years old have high blood pressure. That's a major risk factor for heart disease and stroke. And about 40% of baby boomers have some form of cardiovascular disease. So as tens of thousands of boomers are set to retire, the burden on healthcare, including Medicare, is likely to balloon even more. And that could mean higher taxes and health insurance premiums for all of us. So what can you do to help this epidemic? Well, by now we've all heard the causes of obesity or being overweight. Too many calories consumed, not enough burned. It's a simple enough equation, right? The solution: eat less and exercise more. But for some, this may be more than a challenge than for others. Foods are more processed than ever before, portions are larger in restaurants, and some have less opportunity to exercise. You know, not everyone can afford a gym membership, and even if they wanted to walk outside, many communities don't have adequate sidewalks or parks. Plus, the sad reality is that higher sugar or high-fat foods are often cheaper than healthy meals. Take a Big Mac, for instance. It weighs in at 540 calories and 29 grams of fat. The cost? $3.89. Meanwhile, the healthier alternative, a chicken salad, comes in at 450 calories and 21 grams of fat. The cost? An extra buck, $4.89. Also, check out the prices at your local supermarket. Compare the cost of a bag of chips, crackers, or cookies in the middle aisles to fresh fruits and vegetables or lean meats and fish in the outer aisles, and you'll know what I mean. The good news is that local, state, and federal governments, even McDonald's and other restaurants, are taking note and talking about how to prevent and treat obesity. Some states are or have considered a tax on soft drinks or junk food. The goal is to keep people from buying those items and use the extra revenue from taxes to offset healthcare costs. Some states are giving incentives to local farmers so they can grow more fruits and vegetables and making the produce more available to those who can afford it. Then there is the hit show Biggest Loser, where the contenders of all sizes, ages, and socioeconomic backgrounds compete to lose the most weight. All of them demonstrate that anyone can fight the battle of the bulge and win. And finally, the latest CDC survey on obesity released in mid-January shows that the overall obesity rates, after steadily increasing for the past 3 decades, have remained more or less steady during the last decade. A bit more than a third of adults, or 35.7%, were classified as obese in 2009 to 2010. That's about the same as in 1999 to 2000. It's important to note that the survey did conclude that the population of adults 60 or over are more likely to be obese than other age groups. Still, some say this is good news, a leveling off of the obesity rate. But the bad news is that while there have been discussions and warnings about the sometimes deadly consequences of obesity for decades, the numbers have not improved. The rate remains dismal. A third of adult Americans, or 78 million, and 17%, or 12.5 million children are obese. Boomers, if you want to enjoy retirement and watch your grandchildren grow, it's time to shape up. Now I want to know what you think. Email me at estherandvida@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Leslie, back to you.
Thank you for being with us on Boomer Being. We look forward to seeing you next time.